Et maintenant, je donne la parole au distingué représentant de l'Algérie, s'il vous plaît.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We wish at the outset to pay tribute to all peacekeepers and Blue Helmets for their heavy sacrifices to maintain international peace and security. We wish also to congratulate the members of the Bureau for their election to steer the work of this committee and extend our thanks to the distinguished briefers for their insightful presentations. The UN peacekeeping operations represent a central component of the international peace and security effort. However, with the evolving nature of threats and the current security landscape, these operations are showing their limitations due to several considerations, such as their mandate settings and the lack of a much-needed robust posture. We seize this occasion to voice our support for the recommendations made by the SG through the Action for Peace and the A4P+. We also take good note of the recently published report on the future of peacekeeping and look forward to the discussions to be held during the upcoming Peacekeeping Ministerial in Berlin, May 2025. In this regard, we believe that discussions on the strengthening of peacekeeping should address the following point. First, there is a need to design adaptable and achievable mandate that provide clear strategic directions for UN peacekeeping operations. Strategic directions based on the realities, priorities, and conditions on the ground. The UN Security Council resolutions related to the mandate renewals of UN missions need to be streamlined. They should, however, take on board the essence of previous resolutions and the historical background on the matter discussed, without exclusion or bias selectivity. Second, it is also necessary to include from the onset of the mission clear elements that set out the transition processes and sequenced exit strategy, while preserving security gains. Any exit strategy must be based on realistic and implementable benchmarks. Third, cooperation with the host government in relevant settings need to be further strengthened in accordance with the relevant legal frameworks. Such cooperation has to ensure full adherence by the UN to the national priorities and preserve the core objective of the peace process for which the mission is deployed. Fourth, it goes without saying that the mandate of the peacekeeping missions include, among the relevant components, a human rights component to monitor the situation of human rights on the ground and to report violations by parties in conflict settings. Without such a tool, the mission's presence on the ground will lack legitimacy and credibility. Without such a mandate, even the protection of civilians will lack efficiency. Fifth, fostering partnerships with regional and sub-regional organizations is essential. As mentioned by the high-level independent panel on peace operations more than 9 years ago, the UN cannot face the multidimensional nature of threat alone. The African Union is therefore a reliable partner in this endeavor. The adoption of Resolution 2719 represented an important milestone. However, its implementation must be based on a realistic and balanced approach, while taking into account the capabilities of all involved actors. Sixth, and last, by no means the least, the primacy of political solutions to conflict needs to be reflected in the mandate of UN peacekeeping operations. It has to be done by providing good offices and setting a conducive environment for dialogue between the relevant actors. In this regard, UN peacekeeping missions are responsible for upholding the principles as enshrined in the UN Charter of equal rights and self-determination of peoples, particularly those under foreign occupation. Let me conclude, Mr. Chair, by expressing Algeria's readiness to contribute to peacekeeping efforts. Algeria is ready to put at the disposal of the UN and the international community its knowledge and expertise in the maintenance of international peace and security. I thank you.
I thank the distinguished representative of Algeria for his statement.